It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's our second round of 7 for 2025. We're here at MotoAmerica Superbikes at Barber for the Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama. And we have race 2 on the way, and what a difference a day makes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, yesterday, there was broken clouds, but the sun was out. We had a good day of racing. And today, well, the skies have opened up, rain's out, and it's going to throw something completely different at this new class.
Yeah, we definitely could see some different things happen today, Greg, as it's been raining here since midnight last night. As you can see, race 1, DeMario was on pole, and you can see there that Bodie Page also was in that front group with them. Vosberg was the man, though, that I was surprised with yesterday as we saw Page make an uncharacteristic mistake. But look at Vosberg as he snuck up the inside of Drain here. DeMario at this point, Greg, was up the road. You can see he won very comfortably. The race to the line would end up going to the 59 of Drain on the Essenson bike. So he's still getting his podium streak going, as well as this guy here.
So for Vosberg, he said, well, I made a mistake coming out of the final corner. But in the rain, Barber Motorsports Park, Jason, is still really entertaining and provides a lot of grip on the asphalt.
It really does. It has good grip here as you go down into turn 1 and 2. There's a couple spots here, Greg, that fall away from you, like the exit of turn 2, exit of turn 1. There's some places that are going to be tricky, especially when you get to that 10-11 area. But again, 12, 13, 14, that's where the race will be decided as they run to the checkered flag.
All right, so that's that 2.38-mile circuit. That is so much fun. But how about this guy, Vosberg? 1 podium so far in this brand new class. He's looking to do it again today, this time in the rain.
Still with you here on MotoAmerica Live Plus as we get closer to racing for the Talent Cup riders. And the advantage, one of the advantages that these young riders have had, Roger, is they've been able to watch the other 3 categories go out and race in varying conditions today.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge, just kind of seeing where the puddles and where it's slick. And we've talked about all day about with the rain being the great equalizer, and that'll give a guy like Cody Kopp, I think, could give him a shot to get up there and be inside that top 5 or maybe even a podium.
See Alessandro Di Mario, he's already been able to go out and win a race today. That happened earlier in Talent Cup, Twins Cup. If you're just now joining us, he was thinking he was going to be racing back to back, but then he was given the opportunity with this race being shifted to the end of the day. He was given the opportunity to get some rest and go back and watch some of the racing also.
Yeah, but I think getting that win today in Twins Cup in the rain, gives him a lot of confidence going into this race. He knows what the track's going to be. It's actually kind of like it was this morning or this afternoon when he went out in the Twins Cup race. And even in this little, warm-up here, he was able to go a couple tenths quicker than Julian Carrera. We talked about him coming from the British Talent Cup. Lots of rain experience there.
Simone there with Alessandro Di Mario giving us the fingers crossed symbol. He's just coming off of that Superbike podium finish with his rider over there. That's Josh Herron. So a lot of momentum for him as well, as you see the competitors drying their leathers off a little bit. Why do they do that when it's still raining?
Yeah, just their hands. So because whenever you're wet, you're trying to grip the tank and you're sliding around a little bit. So they just want to be as dry as possible.
And we're going to go ahead and send it back to Greg White, Jason Pridmore, and Hannah Lopa. We'll be watching here along with you.
Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul is brought to you by Parts Unlimited, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket power sports parts and accessories. Parts Unlimited, we support the sport. By Motul, powering the future of racing. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Back here at Barber Motorsports Park, and it is a wet racetrack. It looks like that the rain has stopped falling. However, because this class, the Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul, did not have an opportunity earlier today to ride in the rain, they had a 5-minute, 7-minute familiarization period. And unfortunately, Cody Kopp on the Team Roberts machine. You can see Kenny Roberts Jr. on the left. He's the one holding the brake and the throttle. Kenny Roberts in the back on the tail section. So they worked on that motorcycle after Kopp threw it down the road. We have the crash.
Where he did this. This is the last corner, isn't it? Yeah,
Wow,
that's the
big
last corner for Cody Kopp. So that was actually a big one. And you know, these are the hard lessons that you don't want to see Cody have to learn. And look at the state of that bike when it came in, and that team has done a tremendous job getting it back together. And that was like pretty much right after it happened. The checker flag came out on this warm up. And he gets it back in. Those Kramers, man, they crash pretty good.
Well, yeah.
They're pretty durable.
They're very durable. And, you know, the thing about Kramer as a company is they don't make street bikes. They make motorcycles that are designed for track use. And so when they design these motorcycles, they do think about crash worthiness. Now, for these riders, they didn't get out by the time
Drain Kopp.
Yeah, by the time pit lane closed, so they're now going to have to start in the back of the grid.
And Nathan Betancourt, I believe that's who that is.
Yeah.
So those three didn't get out for
the sighting lap. There's a quick start procedure.
Yep. So they're going to have to just go to the back of the grid, aren't they? That's where they're going to have to go to the back.
I mean, we kind of knew, too, with the amount of time they were using to get the Team Roberts Kramer back in shape and ready to race, that was going to happen for him. But on our timing and scoring, Jay, it looks like we have 8 laps scheduled for this race. Quick start procedure, tell us a little bit about that.
Quick start procedure just basically means instead of the riders coming through after a sighting lap and sitting on the grid for 5-10 minutes, instead now they just get a member of their team out onto the grid. They've gone out of the pits, get them lined up in the spot that they need to be, and then they're going to send them out for a warm-up lap. So if you miss this lap, like the 3 riders we saw in the pits, it simply means they're going to have to go to the back of the grid. So we'll see if Kopp and Betancourt and obviously Sam Drain, who's I think he's in second in the points, see if he can work his way to the front.
Now let's welcome the third member of our broadcast team into it, Hannah Lopa.
As you can see, I have ditched the umbrella for the first time all day, you guys. I think that our Talent Cup riders have gotten the best window for riding this track today. The rain has let up, and hopefully the super bikes, those big bikes that went on just before these guys, have pushed all of that water off of the race line. And as they circulate, hopefully the conditions will be a little bit better for them, considering most of them only have a couple of laps from an early session last weekend at COTA on rain tires. For the majority of them, running in the rain is something different and unique and new for them. So hopefully this will be kind of a good way to get their feet wet, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
nice
it, Hannah.
One, Hannah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, good with the wordplay.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
good.
true. So the very first time that the Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul ever saw the racetrack was at Circuit of America's last weekend in support of the MotoGP weekend, and that first session was in the rain.
It wasn't. It was wet. So you see the other 3 riders just leaving pit lane, and you know, it's funny because we saw DeMario earlier in a Twins Cup race. So he's already been out there in these conditions. In our warm-up just now, he was setting the pace far and away. But on the last lap of that 7-minute warm-up, there was about 2 or 3 other riders that almost matched DeMario's best lap time in these conditions. So it didn't take these kids long to figure out a way. And to Hannah's point, Greg, I'm glad we weren't trying to run this race about an hour ago.
Yeah, it is true, because
conditions are better.
The conditions are a lot better, especially with the standing water. You know, at least you have the weight of a superbike, a 1,000cc machine. These Kramers are so light with 50 horsepower that you would think that they would hydroplane a lot easier going through standing water. Some of this water you see is the stuff that runs across the track. And of course, the tires are also smaller on these 350cc single Kramers, making 50 horsepower.
And the vision of this class is to groom riders to hopefully get an opportunity to go overseas and things. That's what the Talent Cup is all about. And if they go overseas, Greg, they're going to have to deal with conditions like this a lot, obviously, in certain places, as the 30 has had a problem.
Oh, unfortunately for Rossi Garcia on a San Marcos Iron Door 316 Rossi Motorsports machine.
It's a linkage. You can see it. It's broke on the left-hand side. So this isn't a, thank goodness it's not, you know, he didn't tip off or anything. It's just a linkage issue that he has had, so he's not going to be able to make the start of this race, sadly.
Yeah, so the shifter linkage, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the shifter linkage looked like it was just hanging there.
That's unfortunate for Rossi. Yeah, there it is, hanging off.
Yeah.
Connected to the foot peg. So that's that. Yeah, that's a huge bummer for him. And I'm sure he was looking forward to gaining all this experience in wet weather. And some of these riders have been over in Europe, and they may ride, you know, different racetracks in the rain. But it's DeMario, Page, and Vosberg who qualified on row number 1.
Drain, King, and Garcia are going to be there on row number 2. A little further back, Kopp, Black, Correa, Dreyer, Betancourt, and Smith. And you remember, a few of these riders are going to be at the back of the grid. Sanchez, Mervis, and Fraley there in row 5 as we get ready to go.
8 laps scheduled for this Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul. Clear visor for our pole sitter. Has a good look at his eyes. The lights go off and we're ripping. Here go those Kramers into turn number 1. DeMario got a good launch, but it looks like the 65 of Page will lead us into turn number 1 and set the pace. As they go through that water on the streaming down through turn number 1, you can see Cody Kopp way back there after his get off just a few minutes ago. So it's Page and DeMario who lead the way. And that's the 31 of Vosberg, who's going to be in 3rd spot.
Yeah, and you can see Vosberg did really well in the dry yesterday. DeMario is going to have a look at Page as they go down into Charlotte's Web for the first time. He's going to make that pass. Correa also on the 40 goes up underneath Carson King, going down into that same spot. So Correa moves himself up into 4th. The 2 at the front, Bodie Page fighting back. So they're side by side right now. DeMario is going to just pull in front before they get to this crucial right-hander, go over this curb. And DeMario gets himself back to the front of the field.
DeMario doing double duty this weekend and getting a lot of track time today in the wet and utilizing his knowledge of what he discovered a few hours ago to lead this race. So it's the 27, the 65, the 31, and then the 40 of Correa. Then you go back to the 32 of Carson King. Ella Dreyer back there on the 22 with Chase Black and Derek Sanchez on the 23.
That's what I love about Bodie Page. I mean, again, these conditions definitely equalize things out. Look at the roll there from the 3rd place bike of Vosberg. You see how much he rolled into the back of these two guys? So Vosberg feeling comfortable over in that little part of the section as we got a lead pack of 4, Greg, that are starting to separate themselves from everybody else. And, you know, but they're able to kind of keep DeMario in sight a little bit more with these conditions, as it looks like Vosberg's going to take a shot at Page going down into the last turn. Not quite close enough.
Yeah, Page didn't look quite comfortable going through those last couple of corners, and DeMario on the Warhorse Ducati American Racing Kramer APX 350 MA was able to pull away ever so slightly, but a good drive onto the front straightaway gets the 65 of Bodie Page and that CTR D&D Cycles machine right back up to him.
So when they come across the line, Greg, the first 4 separated by 2nd. Page now trying to go with DeMario, and you know, you think about the amount of laps he's done around here, and then we got this big battle for 5th a little further back. It's going to be Ella Dreyer, King, Sanchez, Drain, Solly Mervis just off the back in 9th. So these front 4, though, look at Vosberg getting the thing crossed up, going down into Charlotte's Web.
So Julian Correa, the 40 on the Jones Honda. Now these names that you're hearing, a lot of these teams are superbike teams, and you get to go around this paddock and see, like for instance, the Warhorse Ducati American Racing rider DeMario under that Warhorse canopy right next to his superbike teammates.
Yeah, and he's going to be learning a lot riding in and around that team, but I've been super impressed. Bodie Page yesterday sadly had a little tip-off in the dry. Still was able to get up, get some points, and he's just going to continue to plug along here and watch what DeMario's doing. Hannah, what you got?
It's DeMario's 2nd race of the day today, and the conditions were a little bit more rainy when the twins went out earlier for that race, but I will say that DeMario's been doing his homework. You know, when I ran into him this morning, he was at the big screen at the podium watching the session to see what the conditions and what the riders were doing. And then throughout both the Supersport and Superbike races, he walked down here onto the pit lane, walked up to the wall to see in person and not just on the TV screen what the conditions of the track look like with the big bikes. And I think that speaks to his experience and a lot of personal growth for him over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, it certainly does, but it's a different race here in the rain as they come across the stripe with 6 to go. The 31 of Vosberg now solidly in 2nd place, and Vosberg looks to be the fastest rider on the racetrack at the moment, Jay. Although those lap times, a 1:52.6 for DeMario, 1:52.2 for Vosberg, and he's really starting to reel him in.
And he's good down into this this Charlotte's Web section. You're going to see, let's see if he can get down the inside. He's on the outside at the moment. So look at him though, Greg. He's going to go right to the inside.
Oh boy!
Tried to think about it, didn't he? So
he certainly did, but as DeMario started to cross his line over, Vosberg did the right thing, got it slowed, but now it's a drag race.
And you know, Greg, what is it like when these kids get on the podium for the first time? They just want to get back there, you know, and the 31 Vosberg, we saw him on there yesterday. Great interview, super nice young man, and to see him now giving it the fight in the wet as well. Doing a really nice job holding on to the back of DeMario as these two now have separated themselves a little bit from Page and Correa.
Vosberg on the Tytler Cycles Racing machine out of De Pere, Wisconsin at 14 years old. In the wintertime, he races concrete flat track. He's done some ice racing. So Vosberg knows what it's like to be in slippery conditions. Although you say ice racing, generally they're pretty solid spikes, I guess you could say, on those tires, but a nice lead change from Vosberg. Gets right around DeMario. Now he'll set the pace. The 27 in second, and going around the outside is Correa. So Julian Correa, the number 40.
We know
on the Jones Honda.
We know he's, DeMario up out of the seat into the grass. That's going to cost him a ton of time now for DeMario. Now it's really let these three guys get out in front of him a little bit further as Vosberg's leading Correa, who I was just going to say, we know he's been in these conditions. He's raced overseas, so he's probably got a lot of time in the wet as well.
So Bodie Page out of Australia, already been on the podium a couple of times. Here's another look, Jay, left part of your screen at what happened.
He got bucked up out of the seat early there, Greg, and he got onto the curbs and then does a nice job here. Real easy to make a mistake when you get into that grass. You're going to see this bike snap around on him on the left part of your screen. Does a good job of controlling that and saving it.
That's just raw talent right there and the experience of that 16-year-old. So we have 4.5 laps to go. We're looking at the battle for second place. Vosberg, the 31, leads the way on his Tytler Cycle Racing machine. Then you have Correa, Jones Honda. And then 65 is Bodie Page on the CTR D&D Cycles machine. All these are Kramer APX 350 MA specially designed motorcycles for this class. The Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul by the company Kramer over in Europe. And they've done a heck of a job in less than 1 year to get these motorcycles race ready. And this series is providing us a look at the young talent that's coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my big question now is how much does DeMario push to try to get himself back up into this fight? So we're going to be keeping an eye on our board here to see these splits. But Correa doing a really good job at the moment. Julian running second, and just a tiny little bit of a gap now between him and Page. Bodie, we've seen him on the podium a bunch already in the sense that saw him on the podium at COTA, and he was capable yesterday, front row qualifying, made a mistake, and just trying to get himself back up into that podium spots again as he finds himself in third. And there's DeMario on the 27, so we'll keep an eye on him as Vosberg runs the fastest lap of his race, 50.6, fastest lap of the race period. These two guys were 52.2.
Yeah, and just an eye on Sam Drain, one of our riders who has been doing great in this series. He had to start from the back of the grid because he didn't get out in time. He's worked his way up to 5th place doing 154s.
Yes.
But he's about 8 seconds back, and it looks like Ella Dreyer maybe with some problems. She's starting to tumble down the leaderboard. Hannah?
I wanted to mention Bodie Page because I think that he's an up-and-comer in this class, and you know, he's got a lot of different experience, but despite being just 14 years old, he's got some versatility. Road racing in Australia, he's also got some flat track experience. And I was talking to one of the team owners of CTR D&D earlier, Corey Texter, and he told me that Bodie is kind of a Hail Mary type of racer, and he's not really too concerned with him because he knows out in the rain conditions like this, he's going to be a little bit more comfortable. But in addition to the win, being 14 years old, he's not afraid to take some big risks. So it's definitely going to be fun to watch him as he progresses throughout the season, but especially in these rainy conditions.
Man, both riders get sideways. Bodie Page goes down. What a tremendous job from Correa to not get into the back of that bike or Bodie. So Bodie crawling off the track right now, going to get that bike up. It's in an impact zone over there, Greg. It's a popular spot. We've seen a lot of riders falling out of there this weekend. Yeah. Vosberg now is going to have a nice big gap. That's going to open up this lead, Greg, from what was 2.8 this last lap to probably well over 5 seconds.
Yeah, and that was that
and
risk.
I didn't see if Correa went out onto the grass either. I don't know if he did.
But that was that risk that Hannah was talking about, that Bodie's just going to throw caution to the wind. And for Paige, it was at the wrong time, and that bike snapped sideways for the 14-year-old, who, by the way, turns 15 years old tomorrow. But so there's another rider down. It's Solly Mervis out of 7th place. So
it's too bad for Solly. He had been running up there closer in that battle for 5th.
Ice Barn Racing machine. So he was up in that battle, and that's going to relegate Ella Dreyer up to 6th place, Sanchez the 5th, and
That's a
Sam
red flag,
Drain.
Greg.
Yeah, red flag.
Must be a red flag, only because I saw these riders put their arms up early there.
So it looks like there's a motorcycle probably in a bad spot, if not some fluid on the racetrack. These Kramers are built so well, Jay. I really find it hard to believe that that is the case, but it's always possible. Let's go back to the crash that we have, Jay.
Yeah, this is a big one. You're going to see this bike snap around on Bodie, and look at Correa. He's sideways too. He's sideways and on the front brake as hard as he can be. Gets the leg out. I have no doubt he may have got into that grass. See how there's some grass over there? So early, we're going to get a better look here. And yeah, for sure, Correa goes across the grass and keeps the thing safe. But I'm a little worried about Bodie, just the way he's holding his hips. As we see again, this is going to be at full speed. Watch the 40 behind. He's just as sideways almost. And just gets the bike stopped and saved. And you can see Bodie's already holding his left side a little bit though, so keep an eye on him.
All right, so there were 5 laps complete, and it is an official race, a complete race. So it's going to be Hank Vosberg who takes the win. So the 31 on the Titler's Cycles machine out of Wisconsin is going to lead us to the podium in his first victory, and a look at his Dunlop pace. It's at 50.632. Fastest lap of the race for the 31 of Vosberg.
Great win for him. I mean, he was not going to be challenged for this race win anyways, Greg, at almost 8-second lead the last time through, so looked very solid.
So the 31 Vosberg on his way as we await confirmation on who is going to be standing on the podium. It looks like it's going to be Correa in 2nd place and DeMario in 3rd, Sam Drain in 4th, Sanchez in 5th, Dreyer in 6th, Carson King in 7th place. Up until really, Jay, we got to that part of the race, you have to give a lot of credit to the riders that were doing the job here in the rain, in racing conditions. This class, of course, 14 to 21 years old, and a lot of young riders here. An opportunity for them to get good rain experience. We're going to step away from Barber Motorsports Park. When we come back, we're going to talk to Hank Vosberg about that one.
At Coda, and then got on the podium yesterday and gets a win today. But what a great ride by that young kid there with a 50.6, almost a second and a half quicker than anybody else went. Just a great ride by him. He didn't make a mistake, and it's so hard to do that when you're out front and you're a young rider and you're the one setting the pace. And just did a great job.
Did you see all of the riders make their way over to the podium to be able to celebrate their top 3 results for today? This will be the final time, Roger, that you and I are on for this weekend. What are your biggest takeaways of the weekend?
Well, my biggest takeaway is just how competitive every class is. Superbike, I mean, really competitive. Also, Supersport, Twins Cup. We've seen a lot of different things than we thought we were going to see in practice and qualifying. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. All the teams and crews and riders, they know what they need to work on, and they have a couple weeks now before we get to Road Atlanta and try to improve where they need to get better.
We get to Road Atlanta. It's another very different racetrack compared to where we're starting off the season, but it's really the versatility of the rider that makes up the entire championship. What can they do between now and then to get ready?
Just keep working on whatever your weakness was, and that's another track like this with elevation and physical and up and down. So really watch the videos this week, see where you were struggling at, where you were losing time to your competitors, and go to work for a couple weeks.
See the riders looking to be ready to get into place. As you watch the podium ceremonies here, I noticed the last one, it was Steve Johnson, the drag racer of Pro Stock Motorcycle, handing out the trophies. We send it back over to Greg and Jason.
Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul is brought to you by Parts Unlimited, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket power sports parts and accessories. Parts Unlimited, we support the sport. By Motul, powering the future of racing. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
When a race is over and somebody wins, we celebrate. So there goes Hank Vosberg and all of his fans, friends, family celebrating on that big win. Let's take a look at these results on this shortened race for Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul. Vosberg with a 7-second victory over Correa and DeMario. But Hannah is with our winner, Vosberg.
And for Hank Vosberg, following up yesterday's career first podium in the Talent Cup with his career first victory in the class, a big smile on his face. Hank, take us through that race and those conditions out there.
First, our sighting session, it was a lot slicker than I expected. You know, people were saying it was really grippy here, and I came through a corner and the rear end stepped out, so I'm like, smooth as fast. So every lap we were going faster, and off the start, I got a way better start than I ever have, and I was with the lead group, so it went really well. And I just kept chipping off the pace, and I went for the lead after DeMario, and it went really well. I was able to put a little gap on him. I don't know what happened, because I saw on the pylon he fell back a little bit, but yeah.
Anybody want to thank?
I want to thank the whole Tyler Cycle crew, Blood, Lubricants, Akasato for the amazing brakes, my whole family, HJC helmets, Forma boots, and Matt and Freddie at Robum Engineering. They put a lot of work into this bike to make this happen, because I probably wouldn't be here without all their help.
Big congratulations to Hank. Second place today and a first-time podium for Julian Correa in the class. Take us through that race.
Yeah, it was, even from the first lap out of the pit lane, I felt really good. I had a lot of confidence on the bike, had a little bit of movement, but it seemed like everyone's been having that all day. And yeah, we've been struggling really with the bike. We've been having a hard time, but I can't thank the whole team enough. Tim and Cam, who have been working nonstop, you know, late nights. And yeah, I'm super grateful to be up here. It's my first American podium in a long time, so I'm really happy. I'm really going to celebrate this one.
Finishing the weekend on a high note is Julian Correa, and rounding out our Talent Cup podium today is Alessandro DeMario. Started off the race really strong. Tell us what happened out there.
I just had a huge moment after. I mean, first of all, just congrats to Hank. He was my teammate in endurance last year, so I got to know him pretty well. I'm really happy for him. And when he passed me, I just wanted to follow him and do whatever he did. But I mean, it worked out in twins. But then I got on the gas a little too much. And I saved it, but I was trying to keep it straight on the grass, so I lost a little bit of time there. But, you know, I just can't thank the team enough. The bike felt amazing all weekend. I mean, I want to thank all my sponsors. My brother, he's in the Marine Corps, so shout out to him. And, you know, just all my sponsors, KYT, Farachi, Moto Liberty, Sierra, Fastline, the Power Sports Store, and just everybody that's helped me out. Thank you so much.
Alessandro DeMario, third place today, keeping that podium streak alive, guys.
Oh, and what a save that was, too. That thing could have ended in tears, and boy, that skill just saved it all.
That's a big one that he had there, and yeah, but the Correa save was pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just sending our thoughts with Bodie. Hopefully he's okay after that big one over there.
But this guy right here, Hank Vosberg, what a performance. And once he got to the front, he put his head down and he checked out. And at the end of the day, when you look back in the record books, his first win, a 7.6-second margin of victory. But the question is, what's going on in this point standings? Because after 4 races of the 14 we have in this championship, DeMario with a 21-point lead over Drain, Bodie Page right there, 25 points back. Correa also in the mix, and Vosberg, a huge chunk of points. So those two tied for 4th currently. What a race we had here. It was short for the Parts Unlimited Talent Cup by Motul, but it certainly was a good one. Make sure you join us for the next one. It's going to be Road America, May 30th to June 1st. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. We'll see you next time.